Welcome to Light Logic, the podcast that discusses everything you need to know about low voltage lighting. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. You're listening to Light Logic.
Hey, welcome to the Light Logic podcast. My name is Keith Radatz. I had an interesting conversation today with Nick Caliva from Earthworks about the hub system, and I hope you enjoy the show. There's a lot of interesting information shared. Hi, my name is Keith Radatz. I'm with Unique Lighting Systems, and I'll be your host on today's podcast. With me today is Nick Caliva of Earthworks out of Wisconsin. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me, Keith.
Yeah, no, so today we're going to talk about the hub and how it translates into what you do for a living in regards to the low voltage lighting side. Nick, why don't you start out by giving us some complete credibility on your side on what you do, and maybe some mention to the awards you've won over the years and how you go about your day-to-day work and where you're from.
So we're based out of Western Wisconsin here in River Falls, Wisconsin. We're right on the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin, which puts us about a half an hour out of the Twin Cities. We've been in business since 1978. I'm a second generation business owner. My parents started the business. So we've established ourselves as kind of a premier landscaping, hardscaping, outdoor living contractor here in our area. And we service about a 30-mile radius. There's a lot of high-end homes that we've worked on in the area. And it's mostly commuters from the Twin Cities. There's a lot of big name businesses in the Twin Cities, and that brings a lot of commuters to our area and kind of higher end homes with executives and things like that. So that's kind of the clientele that we've built our business around. So yeah. As far as awards go, I don't typically submit awards to any awards just because that's not the type of person I am. But some of my affiliates have submitted some of the projects that we've done, and we've picked up some really cool awards, namely down at Hardscape North America last year. We got an honorable mention on one of our hardscape projects. And actually 2 honorable mentions on that project. And then just this year, this spring, got 3 awards. One of them was the Gold Award, the highest award that they had at the Wisconsin Masonry Alliance. So those are just a couple of the recent awards that we've received. Very proud of that. Yeah, that's just a little bit about my background.
Yeah, so I know you do a lot with social media, and I'm kind of hooked on your videos when they come out and get the little Instagram notification. And you get 120 million followers. Wow, I mean that's bravo.
Thanks,
right?
Keith.
Yeah.
I wish it was millions. It's actually 120,000.
Got him.
But yeah, no, that's kind of a passion of mine. It's definitely a grind, but all the time that I've spent has certainly paid off. And the coolest thing about it is that it really links me with the rest of the hardscape and landscape industry. With all my followers and everything, I get messages every day about, hey, really cool project, or hey, I got a question on how to do this or that. And so the camaraderie and just joining together with all the different hardscapers across the country, across the world even, is really the coolest aspect of that. And then also collaborating with businesses like Unique Lighting. I have collaborations with a handful of really awesome businesses that I work with. So
who's that, Nick?
Just to name a few, Blades Direct. They make diamond blades for hardscaping. IQ Saws, dustless saws. Ants Trailers is a really cool dump trailer, conveyor belt trailer that we use every day. there's a bunch of brunt workwear. There's just a ton of different companies out there that we work with. So if you're more interested in in all the stuff that I do, I really encourage you to follow me on Instagram at earthworks_landscaping. You'll see my free logo, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no. So I bring that up just to show the credibility of who you are and what you do for the industry in regards to. I noticed, like last time when we were down at the GIE Hardscape in Louisville, there was a lot of collaboration around you, and there were a lot of guys that you were talking. And I noticed that some of the conversations were to help guys out, right, and how to manage. So that part said. How does unique lighting fit into what it is that you do? Like what are those main nuts and bolts that you think this is why I use that product, our product?
Well, really, one of the biggest reasons that I've used Unique for so long is the connection that I've made with my sales people at Unique. I remember probably 20 years ago, meeting one of the sales people around here, and they got me going, and just like, helping me out initially getting started, teaching me how to use the systems and everything. So the connection that I made with Unique, from the foundation, from the starting point, was really what, helped me, learn landscape lighting. And after I got started kind of installing it, it all just clicked. Like, this is the way to go. This is probably the best way to install landscape lighting. Just the things that Unique has come up with. Right. Their original founder was, he's very obviously passionate about landscape lighting, but ahead of his time as far as kind of the things that he came up with initially.
Right. So when we talk about that, right, you talk about the different products that we carry, and it's unique lighting systems, and you make a great point, and a great segue is to the actual reason for the podcast today, which is talking about the hub system and why you hub and all that kind of wonderful stuff. And I've got a couple things here. Obviously we got to start out with nuts and bolts, right? So you have our fixtures, and with all our fixtures, they come with this 25-foot lead. And with that 25-foot lead, how does that work into the hub system, and how does it benefit you in regards to when you use the product? So we have different hubs. We have an S hub here. We have an Intella hub here. I'm sure Ethan, who's on the back side of this, can pop in some pictures and show those a little bit up front and closer. But Nick, explain to me how you use that when you sell the product and when you install it. So benefit to you as a contractor. How does that work in?
So to start off, the 25-foot lead on every fixture, that's huge, because the time savings. Some of the other landscape lights that I've seen just come with like a 3-foot lead on them. So basically, the only way to efficiently install those systems is kind of to link them together off of the main
daisy chain
them off of the main wire, which it leads to if you put 10 fixtures on one of those in a daisy chain, the first fixture is going to be the brightest, and the last fixture is going to be, noticeably less dim, because the voltage drops from light to light to light.
Sure.
So when we use the hub system, all of the wires from the fixtures run to the hub, and the main wire from the transformer comes to the hub as well, and that is the splitting point basically out to each fixture. So we test the wire voltage at the hub, and we know that each fixture, because it has a 25-foot lead on it, has the exact same voltage. So all of the lights look perfectly the same.
Illuminated.
And it just makes things 10 times more efficient and easy to work with. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've talked in the past in regards to it, in regards to hubbing and why it's important. And you fuse a house, you fuse a car. Why wouldn't you fuse your exterior
Yeah.
lighting system? And when you sell the product, I'm sure that comes to mind. You tell me, have you had that interaction with clients? And when you have, explaining that you're not just selling them lights and you're selling them an engineered system. Can
Yeah.
you speak to that?
Yeah. So a lot of times when I'm selling unique lighting, you know, sometimes this can be high level stuff when we're talking about voltage and ohms and all these things that go along with landscape lighting. But the one thing that I do sell them on with the hub system is that, sometimes wires get, somebody's digging around in their garden and a wire gets severed or
Compromise, yeah.
something like that. The thing that I like to tell homeowners is that this is a super easy way for us to diagnose if anything ever goes wrong, because if there's a lightning strike and it hits the system and you have some lights go out, the easy thing to do for me is to go to the hub and see, okay, there's a fuse in there. Did the fuse get blown? Okay, yeah, the fuse is blown. That means all the 5 lights on this hub are going to be gone. If one of the lights is out on this hub, then I know it's either the wire got severed or the bulb, something happened to
Sure.
the bulb.
Sure.
So I mean, diagnosis makes it just so much easier.
Yeah. So and obviously we don't want to spend a lot. We make more money installing than we do, screwing off
Right.
and trying to find things that are, the diagnosis portion of hubbing makes it that much easier.
Yeah.
And in terms of installing it in the ground, I mean, we have our IntelliHub, which is our first stop in the chain of hubbing, and then from that we go out and we satellite hub, right? So if my body's the transformer and my arm is my main line, my hand's the hub, and my 5 fingers are those 25-foot leads going to each fixture. So yeah, I mean, so as you progress and as you get bigger, right, there's procedures and protocols, and you have more people that you bring onto your team, right? And with that, procedures and protocols, I'm sure that's important to, especially with the size company you are and trying to manage new guys into your system. Would you say that this system is, I wouldn't say it's easier, but makes more sense in terms of putting in those protocols and those procedures?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right. I mean, we wouldn't be able to run this business the way that we do without procedures and protocols and things like that. That being said, when I'm teaching a new guy how to install a lighting system, and especially the hub system, it clicks. It makes sense for them, as opposed to a different method. As far as testing and things like that, it's a lot easier, and not to mention just more efficient. It's faster, and it just goes really smooth. So I'm a big fan.
So I know, and then over the years, right, as you and I have progressed through our relationship in regards to the lighting part of it, and we've sat down and I've introduced some other ways to manage and or do, right, and create it so it makes it much quicker, faster, easier to install. And then for you, protocols, being able to teach it to your guys, by using zip ties, especially. So, using a larger zip tie to call out that main run, and then the smaller zip ties to call out the satellite hubs, and then going through and managing the door on the transformer, and being able to do those job documentation, walking around with your phone, making sure we record everything before we bury it, and managing it all out. I'm assuming that really helps you in regards to a later date comeback, whether they're changing something in or if there's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, those are all awesome tips and tricks and things that just kind of come natural to me now. But, like I said, going back 20 years ago, when we were first learning how to use the system, helping out the salespeople at Unique were just awesome at just really helping us understand how to use the system, when to use, certain parts of the system, and just making sure that everything was correct. And also, always offering ongoing support and education. a lot of times in the wintertime, they'll have at our local stores or suppliers, they'll have continuing education where Keith or somebody from Unique will come in and talk about lighting, and you can re-up your certifications and things like that. So they've always been really helpful that way.
And we appreciate that. Thanks, Nick. But just for the homeowner, because obviously you have a job to sell, and when you put that hat on, how do you go to market with the Unique product and speak to them about the hub? Like what are there buzz terms you use in regards to it? Like you could use any lighting system that's out there or any manufacturer. Like what is it about Unique that drives the homeowner to purchase your lighting portion of it?
Well, most of the time when my clients hire me, they're hiring me because I'm the professional, right? I typically don't give them any other options. It could be pavers, it could be retaining walls, whatever it is, whatever that I am suggesting them to use. 9 times out of 10, they trust me because they've hired me to be the professional.
Sure.
That being said, I use Unique lighting. That's the lighting that I use. I don't use any other sort of lighting. And most of the time, my clients just trust that this is going to be the best product for them. And in my opinion, it is. That's why I use it. That's why I've used it for 20 years. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, there's different, obviously we talked about tricks and whatnot, and, we've gone through and I've introduced some other ideas to you in regards to using the Buchanan crimp tools and different accessories that we have for it. And as far as the hub goes and maintaining a system and the hub goes as far as using the fuses properly, and, can you speak to guys and talk to them a little about having a true RMS voltmeter and how important it is when installing to be able to use that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of these tools and things that Keith's talking about can be like, whoa, what are you talking about here? But and once you really understand how to use a voltmeter and things, it's really not that difficult. But it's really important to know what your voltages are and things like that, because if you don't get those things right, then you're doing a disservice to the homeowner and also a disservice to the lighting industry, because there's a good lighting install and there's a great lighting install. And if you want to be a great lighting installer, these are just some of the tools that you need to use.
Yeah. And that's why I say that with, using that voltmeter and using the hub system method of wiring, that whole engineering aspect that goes to it. I think, it just really works well in it. And I really appreciate you coming on today. I really appreciate you, taking the time, going through it with me. And I wish you all the best, Nick. And obviously, you're a very successful guy. Keep up the great work on social media and everything you do for the green industry, in particular with us, right? I think it's awesome what you do. So thanks again.
Keith. Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Unique. You guys have been awesome, and I really appreciate being on the podcast. So we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right.